This is Gary Johnson then, pre-Oxford City in the Trophy. Gary, how's the search for some cover for Aaron Downs' injury going?
Extensive. Of course, we've got Keane that's come in, but we brought Keane in as help in the centre half position with Downsy and Pars. So now we've lost Downsy. Of course, we now need another one. We're back to square one, just with two centre halves. So it's extensive. We've made a lot of calls. We've made a lot of got a lot of information on people. So it's not a great panic right at this minute, but I've got a couple of other things in mind as well, which may or may not be revealed another time. But yeah, we're still looking.
And actually, presumably, this is an ideal game for Keane Harris to get into a Cheltenham team first team shirt and actually get out there and play some minutes.
Yeah, it is. It's a great opportunity for him to show us what he's got, and because he's only like 18, 19, so we haven't seen a great deal of him in men's football. I've seen him in training. I think he's got terrific quality with his left foot, which I knew before. He's got a great touch for a big fella. It's just a matter now of how he looks in men's football, which is why we've brought him in. And everybody that we know that we spoke about him believes that he's a decent, strong enough lad for that level. So anyway, we'll see. It's a good opportunity to see exactly what his game's about.
And Daniel Parslow, presumably perfectly experienced, to just switch to the other side of centre half.
Yeah, he can comfortably do that. Pars, it might do him a favour. Where he's been playing on that left side and doing it very well when we've played a 3 and obviously when we've played a 2. Yeah, so he can comfortably go over to the other side. I still want an option of being able to play 3 at the back because I think that is a good option sometimes in the winter when there's sort of muddy pitches and it's windy or snowy or raining or something. Then you can keep a bit of a solid group, and then because you obviously play your 3 in midfield, and you've got your 2 wing backs, which went quite well for us. So we still need that other one.
You were mulling over after the Boreham Wood game whether or not players would be getting back on the bike or some would need a rest. How difficult is that decision proving, or those decisions plural, proving this week?
Well, in the end they're not difficult because I think about it a lot. I think about the importance of the league to us. So we have to be very careful that we don't lose people this weekend through whatever reason. So it will be an opportunity to use some of the squad players. I'm not taking the game lightly, but I'm also not taking winning the league lightly either. That we know that as a club, that's been our focus from day one. The minute everybody joined us on July the 1st, our focus was winning this league, and that's got to stay our main focus. Everything else you have to adjust to and use as helping the squad, helping people get 90 minutes. But we can't afford any more sort of first team injuries, if you like. So I've got to keep one eye on that, especially for Saturday.
And I suppose if you do need the squad players later on, if they've had game time in the Trophy, then they'll be more ready to come in.
Correct. It's a great opportunity for some of them to show what they can do. As you say, it's a good opportunity for those that need to get back on the bike. I could give a couple of opportunities there where to say, go on, get out there and get back on that bike and make sure you're back ready for selection for Tuesday. So there's a lot of scenarios, and I can see you all thinking, well, what's he going to do here then? Like who's doing what? And that's I've had to really think that, because of course the club would love to win the double, but you can't win one without thinking of the main aim to win the league. So it will give people an opportunity. That's what I say to play on Saturday, and of course it'd be great if we get through, because then I'll have other decisions a little bit later on down the line.
Oxford City 5th in National League South, so going okay. Will they be a tougher test than Chelmsford were?
I think they'll all be pretty similar. I mean, they're doing very well. Oxford City, they're at what are they in the promotion places, or they're near the promotion places. They've had a couple of games cancelled, and in the last, so they haven't had a game for a little while. Don't really know what their pitch is, or what the state of their pitch is, if it's good, if it's not good. I think there was a lot of rain on it. The last we went to watch them in the week. Was it in the week or Saturday? Saturday, I think it was. When did we play Bournemouth? Saturday, right? And that game was off, so our scout had to go home with the tail between his legs. So we'll have to wait and see on that side of it. But they're a decent team, and I'm sure they'll be looking to get into the National League for next season.
And because of that postponement, have you actually had someone watch them? Have you managed to get a report on what they do?
Yeah, well, of course, Amari was there for a little while, and I might just pick his brains for 10 minutes and see what was going on there. We sort of already know the shape, etc., and we know the players, but we know the names of the players. But no, we'll be nice and organised as far as the opposition is concerned when the game comes round.
Obviously, we've spoken about Aaron Downs, but other injuries? Any news there? Anyone coming back?
No, nobody's coming back. I mean, obviously Dan Holman, who's doing very well at the moment, by the way, is trophy tied. Obviously, he played in the trophy for Woking. Amari Morgan Smith is walking properly now. That's a big thing. He's out of all his boot and his cast and everything like that. So I always see a big bonus in seeing the lads that have had those ankle injuries walking properly. That's a great start. It means they can jog and etc. And we got a couple of little knocks that I've got to be careful with, that's for sure, because it is still a very small squad. As I always say, it's a small quality squad, and I've got to man manage as well as game manage at the moment.
Plenty of speculation at the moment about Luke Thomas. Where is the situation with him in terms of maybe leaving Charlton going?
Well, he's. I don't think it's any secret. If it is, I'm giving you a secret that he's down at Derby, having a medical, doing a medical, and it's a very good club, Derby. And in our opinion, I don't know where everybody gets these figures from, because they don't know really the ins and outs of it, because the deal's been done between the two clubs. I think Derby are pretty happy that they've got their player, and we're pretty happy, trust me, that the deal was a good deal for our club, for a 16-year-old. And of course, when you sell a 16-year-old, there's lots of add-ons, and there's always a sell-on and all those sort of things. So those people that are panicking and thinking we should have got 10 million for him, we didn't get that. But of course, the club's looked after its finances, and if both clubs are happy, then it's been a good deal for both.
And how much would that sort of enable you just to have a few more pence in your pocket to be able to go out and get someone in the rest of the window?
Yeah, well, you can have as much as you like, but in January, the better players that are worth any sort of money, clubs don't want to move out. They want to keep them, because obviously they're their better players, otherwise they wouldn't be able to ask money for them. So that always proves difficult in January. And then what you end up doing is you end up having to pay 70 grand to somebody who might only be worth 10 at the end of the season, or out of contract at the end of the season. So we've got to do our due diligence on the finances. We've got to make sure we don't just throw money out there, because ideally I want to win the league, I want to get promoted, and I want a nice little nest egg that the chairman says Look, here it is. Here's your sum of money. Go and spend this 5 million on players. We like that.
I mean, would it actually though just maybe give a little bit of freedom in terms of wages though, rather than sort of pressure to stay within budgets?
Yeah, but if you start letting it, putting it out there that we've got this money, and that's why people say undisclosed figures, because Derby don't really want people to know what they're paying for kids, because that means they've got no negotiating with the next one. We don't want people to know we got money, because everybody's going to be double now because they know we've got. So we've got to be careful. So I'll just keep throwing the questions, and I'll just keep batting them away a little bit.
You're still skint, thank you.
Good boycott.
Yeah.
Rob Dickie was at Boreham Wood on crutches in a boot. How long away do you think he is?
He's, I would say he's a good month or two away. It was a big injury that he had. It was a real big loss to us. It was. I thought he was just becoming a man in the football sense, and yeah, that was a big loss because there was goals in him. He was a good defender. He was quick, but another iceberg. We're coming up against all these icebergs, some small, some big, and we've got to manoeuvre around them. And as I've said to both of you, not let it sink our ship. And as I've said again, I won't let it do that. So we can't cry over spilt milk and all that. So we've got to make sure that we stay positive and trust in the group that we've got.
This is obviously with Downs, it's the third long-term injury, and by and large the squad have managed it well in terms of not sinking.
Yeah.
Obviously that's down to the character of them, that they almost say, well, we'll do it for whoever is that.
Yeah. Well, they're all the experienced ones would have had this before, and sometimes it would have been themselves that might have got injured. And it's horrible with Downsy because he loves playing. If you ever have any sort of thoughts about saying to Downsy, I want to rest you this week, he always goes, why? Why do you want to rest me? Well, probably because you're 45 and it's grey hair. But he has done fantastic for us, and now he's gonna be that same leader and that same influence, but off the pitch. He wants to stay involved. He's asked me, send me out scouting if you want. I'll do anything if you want me to take a couple of sessions with her. So already he's still well in with the group, and that's good. So we haven't lost the person, we've just lost the player.
Would he like to be taking a seat on the bench when he can? I assume he's got to have some kind of medical procedures and so on.
Yeah, he's got to have medical procedures and that. I mean, you're only allowed a certain amount of people on the bench anyway, but listen, if he wants to sit on the bench, of course he can.
Give your voice a break?
Well, no, they will never do that, however many people are on the bench. But listen, it might be dangerous with his crutches and his legs sticking out, and then me moaning up and down the technical area. If he trips me up, that'll be the last time he ever sits on the bench. But no, listen, we'll wait and see what exactly happens. But even if he's in the stands, sometimes it's good to have somebody in the stands to come into the dressing room and say, well, from where I am, blah, 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 blah. So it could be that right.
Just finally, there's two players that are coming to the end or near the end of deals. Obviously, James Dayton being one. I think he's up after the Kidderminster game, isn't he? And Ryan Jennings, I believe, is on loan till the end of January. Where do you stand on those two at the moment?
Well, I ain't really made a decision on those. I like them both. I think they both got a little bit more to show us. Obviously, Dates had his couple of injuries at the wrong sort of time when he was just coming in, but he's fit now. And I'll make my assessment after the kiddie game with Dates, and then I'll make it a little bit later with Jenno, because I just want to give them enough time to show me what it is that they can do that will affect the game, which will win a game, which will stop us losing a game. All those things. We have the meetings in here, and I tell them exactly what it is that I'm looking for. So I give them the answers to the questions before they take the exam, and it's helping them to know what it is that I'm looking for.
Just one more, actually. 3 of the 7 that you told had no futures have now sort of secured longer term moves away: Zach, Joe Hanks, and Jack Demon. Obviously pleased that they've sort of taken on board that advice. How close are the other four to sort of moving on?
A couple are close. Some have took the advice that they need to go out and play games and get their careers on the go, and a couple haven't. They're just sitting back wondering what to do. One's injured. Jordan Winter has turned his ankle again. But although that's not a long-term one, he should be back next week. So we're trying to manage them and help them as well. But there's a couple where there's things on the move, and in the next couple of days, I'm sure we'll be able to let you know.
Excellent. Cheers.
All right.